Hello, my name is Ricardo Suber, and I am an executive in a major multi-level marketing company. The purpose of this presentation is to discuss the reasons why I did not personally enroll in Paycation. It actually came with a lot of hesitation that I'm putting together and sharing this information, as I personally don't believe in talking negatively about any other network marketing company. But for reasons that I will get into in a moment, I do not believe that this is a legitimate opportunity. And so for that reason, that's why I'm sharing this information with the rest of you. So with that being said, let me talk a little bit more about who I am. Prior to getting started in my multi-level marketing business, I was an engineer by trade and later became an account executive. I launched my first multi-level marketing business in 2011 and attained a notable rank within 9 months of being in the business. I also achieved top customer club recognition within 18 months and currently override a team in over 30 states and in Canada. More than that, I am also a social media authority and have been blessed to have met many great individuals, as you see pictured there, including Eric Worre and Les Brown. And as you can see, I have attained various rankings and awards. Now, why am I doing this particular presentation? Well, one of the things that took place very recently, as of the date of this recording, is that the CEO of my primary business and also a master distributor in my primary business left for Paycation. And along with them, many others who doubted their businesses, along with a select few who were offered incentives, also left. Now, a few of the individuals who left have been misled. So the purpose and the spirit in which I am bringing this information to you is to not have to re-explain my reasons for not joining this company and to present another side to this company that most reps within Paycation have no clue about. As you see there, it's time to set the record straight. The first reason why I didn't and would not go to this company is because of its shaky and failed related and renamed companies. Over the past 10 or so years, most of the companies run by its current leadership have had a span of less than 3 years. This includes Traveris Travel, TravelWorks International, High Five, and this is not to be confused with the 5 Links product line High Five, and now Paycation. And there was even a recent announcement that calls for the rebranding of Paycation to Extreme Global Services, otherwise known as EGS, in the first quarter of 2016. Now, the thing is, if you have a company that is constantly changing its name, one should at least question or look into why all of a sudden name changes. You should look into the credibility, the compensation plan, and what others are saying about it. And that's what we're going to get into in a moment. But this is one of several reasons why I will not and did not join this company. The second reason is because of its questionable compensation plan. Now, services, including travel, most of which is a result of Priceline's affiliate program and others like it, are mostly free. So that being said, within the Paycation compensation plan, the largest emphasis is placed on recruiting and not on selling or marketing any one product. Majority of the opportunity presentation focuses on recruiting and the income derived from it. And the overabundance of incentives for recruiting include a Recruit 12 program. In other words, meaning that, guess what? If you recruit 12 people, your membership is free. Also in the presentation, repeatedly, the term residual income is used, but per its definition within Paycation, it's income derived from persons' monthly fees, rather than legitimate marketing of legitimate services to non-members. This is one big red flag that I saw when looking at the compensation plan. Now, comparing our primary business and frankly any legitimate multi-level marketing company versus one that isn't is like comparing apples to oranges. There is no comparison. Simply stated, and according to Wikipedia.com, a pyramid scheme is an unsustainable and often illegal business model that involves promising participants payment or services primarily for enrolling other people into the scheme. Okay? Now, when you compare that, legitimate multi-level marketing companies must focus on first acquiring customers and then recruiting others to also build their customer base. This is very similar to a franchise model, such as McDonald's, such as Burger King, even such as things like Holiday Inn, where you're helping people get access to quality products or services and people who don't necessarily need to join the business. So that being said, within Paycation, there are a lot of things that kind of struck me in terms of history really repeating itself, namely a company known as YTB. Now, as you can see there again, according to Wikipedia.com, between the years of 2006 and 2009, the company was the subject of several lawsuits and investigations all across the U.S., including California, Illinois, and Rhode Island, among many more, alleging the company to be a pyramid scheme and the usage of deceptive marketing. Now, declining revenues following this led to the company's bankruptcy in 2013. And what was very interesting was that prior to this company going out of business, many representatives left 5links, my primary business. Now, the thing is, it seems like history repeats itself, and as you see there, those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it. So something needs to change, and fast. Now, here's actually a statement quoted from a former FTC general counsel. The statement reads, "Nearly all of the commissions and bonuses paid out in Paycation's compensation plan revolve around recruitment and the payment of monthly fees. The $10 to $25 commissions on the recruitment of new people alone brings Paycation into pyramid scheme territory. Beware of any plan that offers commissions for recruiting new distributors, particularly when there is no product involved or when there is a separate upfront membership fee." And again, the source is the former FTC General Counsel. So that being said, the third reason why I didn't join Paycation is the lack of third-party credibility. Personally speaking, it's very difficult for me to bring or make a very expensive purchase from a place I've never heard from unless I do at least a little bit of research. So if you're actually going to be investing your time in building a business within a business, a home-based franchise, you should definitely do your due diligence. And I just believe that anybody who is of sound business and astute mind would also consult many of the same publications. This includes the Better Business Bureau. Now, when you look at the Better Business Bureau, and using again my primary company as a great backdrop or comparison model, there is no mention of third-party credibility in their presentation. More than that, Paycation received a D rating. This is an unaccredited rating in the Better Business Bureau, where compared to 5links, has an A+ accredited rating in the Better Business Bureau. More than that, Paycation is not a member of the Direct Selling Association, whereas 5links is not only a member, but actually sits on its board within the Code of Ethics. And so whenever you're looking at a home-based business, a multi-level marketing business, most credible businesses actually sit in the Direct Selling Association. My question is, why not Paycation? Why isn't it there? And why has it had a D rating in the Better Business Bureau? Reason number 4 why I did not join Paycation is because of the predatory recruiting practices, aka trash talk culture. Now, I've personally experienced and documented various conversations, emails, and messages from various Paycation representatives who resort to trash talking another company in order to recruit as a practice. I've personally experienced various conversations, mostly through Facebook, but also Twitter, Instagram, and also email from other reps saying, "Hey, your company really isn't solid, come join us." Now that alone is something that causes me to really scratch my head. Why do you choose to put another company down instead of just focusing on the good in your company? So that should also cause one to question how legitimate a company is if this is how they choose to recruit. Now, that being said, I do want to say that this is not indicative of all Paycation representatives. In fact, I truly believe that most representatives are mean well and truly want to build a legitimate business. However, there is a problem within the culture that was created by the leadership in that organization, which is causing many of its recruits to not do the right thing. So again, while it's not indicative of all representatives, it actually is reminiscent of the days when Wake Up Now did the same thing. For those of you guys who do not know, Wake Up Now was a company established a little over 3 years ago and recently went out of business. But prior to them going out of business, many companies, not only 5LINKs, publicly lashed complaints against this company for doing the same thing, trying to trash talk other companies in order to bring other representatives into their homes. So the last reason why I chose not to join Paycation is just because of its longevity. When I build a business and when I chose to align myself with my primary company, I truly looked at its outlook. I looked at the fact that not only was the company strong, not only did the compensation plan make sense, and not only was the product base phenomenal, products and services that I'm already using, but I looked at the fact that this company could remain relevant for years to come. When I look at Paycation's plan, which is mostly based on an affiliate program through Priceline, I seem to question its longevity, especially because it only seemed like the compensation plan rewarded recruiting versus the legitimate sale of products and services. So, in my opinion, the future is questionable at best. Now, all of the reasons cited in this presentation make the outlook of this company questionable. The decision to rebrand Paycation and to add the products and more services in the beginning of the first quarter of 2016, this could be a good thing, but it might be too little too late. And there's so many other factors. Again, the company age being under 2 years old, which really just means it's untested. Now, it could work. It could survive. But because, again, of the history of its leadership in all these previously failed companies, one should at least call that into question. When you look at the compensation plan, being something that really just only rewards, as of the date of this recording, only rewarding the recruitment of representatives and not so much the sale of products and services to non-members, that should call it into question. When you look at the lack of documentation, the lack of credibility, and the little bit of documentation that exists from third parties as negative, one should call that into question. And last but not least, its overall shaky past should call this whole business into question. So, as a disclaimer, I wish everybody existing and those transitioning to Paycation adieu. I wish you good luck, I wish you success, and I wish and hope that this company truly changes things around. But that being said, I do want to warn others who are considering this as a future venture to do your research. If you find something to the contrary from a third party, that's great. But based on my personal research and based on my own personal decision-making capabilities, I am fine exactly where I am. I truly love this profession of network marketing, and I want everybody to win. There's enough money out there for everyone. There's enough products out there for everyone, and no one company is great for everyone. However, we should be mindful and be very, very careful in terms of which companies we go to, because the grass is not greener on the other side of the fence. The grass is greener where you water it. So that being said, once again, this is Ricardo Suber. Thank you so much for listening, and God bless.